Hi. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Donna Kraus. I'm an assistant program coordinator for Literacy Volunteers, Ontario County. Basically, I try to recruit and support the learners and tutors in the northeast part of Ontario County, specifically like the Geneva area. I'm at the Geneva Public Library every Tuesday from 10 to 2, although I do make appointments for people at other times. And I'm doing this training today specifically to talk about News for You. It is sent to all tutors weekly in an email from Literacy Volunteers. And I have found it to be very useful when I am tutoring. I've been a tutor for about 7 years. I've had 3 different learners, and I have used it for all 3 of my learners. But before that, I am going to do what we call a little bit of a public service announcement to talk about our tutor hours form. If you will just be patient. This is the most recent email that we got from Daniel. He sends it out at the beginning of every month and is asking tutors to submit their hours for the month that we just ended. So this email that was sent is asking for January hours, and it's easy now to get to the tutor hours form on this email. You can click here and it will take you right to the link, or you can go to this, and both of them will take you right to our website where we now have our tutor hours form. I'm going to choose the first link, and if you look at my screen, and again, I hope that it is sharing okay, you will see the tutor hours report. Very easy to fill out. The first fields are self-explanatory with your name, email address, your learner's name, and the month that you are reporting for. It is very, very important that we get this information for a few different reasons. The first and the most important reason is we want to know how you're doing with your learner. How often were you able to meet? If we see there are 0 hours or only 1 or 2 hours, that is definitely a problem. And if we haven't heard from you, we will be reaching out to you to find out what's going on. Was your learner on vacation perhaps? Were you on vacation? Was there an illness that prohibited you from meeting? Or is it an attendance issue that we need to address with your learner? Try to keep track. I know this is difficult, but try to keep track of how long it takes you to prepare for each session. And we need that number as well. Travel time. For some of you, it's not very much. For others, it may be a little more. The usual day and time and location where you meet. What literacy skills did your learner improve on this month? An example here is synonyms. You may also be doing contractions, close exercises, compound words. It could be a variety of things. Did your learner have any successes in literacy or a personal goal that they met? And are you having any challenges? Again, your learner may not be keeping their appointments. You may need some assistance or help from us in some way, and we want to know that. Is there anything else your learner needs help with? Anything from housing to help with childcare, things like that? And are there any new materials or resources that you need from us? We do not want tutors buying their own books and materials. We want to get those for you. So please let us know if there's anything else you need. Okay, so the other reasons we need this form is the staff at the literacy office has to report to our board every month on this information. And there are state reports that have to be done. So please try to get this done and submitted to us by the 5th of the month. That would really, really be helpful. And we don't want to have to nag you about it or call, email you and bother you. So please, as soon as you get this email, try to fill out the information, and then all you do is hit send. It's very easy now. You don't have to fill out a Word document, save it to your computer, attach it to an email. You just fill this out and send it to us. So, yes, please try to get this to us as soon as possible. Okay, now we're going to go on to, we're going to go on and talk about News for You. And just bear with me while I bring that up. Okay, again, I'm going to go into my email. Okay, you should be receiving this every week. If you're not, please let the literacy office know in Canandaigua that you're not getting this email. It comes out every Wednesday, early in the morning. And all you do, take note of what the password is. It's had the same password for quite a while now. B969F6. Okay, so you click on the link. And then you have to enter your password, which mine is saved, and sign in. Okay. I hope that you are seeing the screen. So when you get to this, it's important that you sign in. If you don't sign in, you won't have access to all of the information that is important to have. Okay. So when you first get here, you're going to see a main article. And this week's, of course, is the Super Bowl. Big news. And that is the main article. It always has a big picture. I just want to bring to your attention that if you click right here, you can read and listen to the full story. Okay. So it's important to click on that and then pull it back up. If you click on this little speaker here, you can listen to the whole story. Okay. I'm trying to end that because we don't want to listen to the whole thing. Sorry about that. Trying to stop it. Okay. So that's how you stop it. Okay. I hope again that you're seeing my whole screen. It's a good idea to listen to the story sometime. Many of your learners may not be conversing with that many other people in English. Maybe you're the only person they talk to in English. So listening to another person, even though it is a recording, is good practice for them. So if you don't want to listen to the whole story, you could also just listen to one sentence. Okay? So that's just listening to one sentence at a time. So that's good practice. If you want to change the text size, which I always make it really big, that is a really helpful thing to know that you can do. Okay, it's much easier to read. Many times I will read this with my learner, take turns reading it. Okay, so this is the main story of the week about the Super Bowl. Take note here that if you put your cursor over any of the blue words, these are the vocabulary words for the article. It will tell you what type of word it is. It's an adjective, and it will give you the meaning. So back to back means coming one after another in time. Okay, so this is a great tool for your learner. They can be learning vocabulary words as they're reading the article. And obviously, if there are other words they don't know, if they don't know what pro football game means, if they don't know what a league is or a conference, obviously you're going to take the time to stop and look those words up together or explain the word to your learner. Okay, so this is the main article. Okay, one thing I have noticed with News for You is it is somewhat difficult to use the back arrow. And if you see what I just did, I tried using the back arrow. News for You disappeared. It came up in my browser. So then I clicked enter and it came right back. Okay. It doesn't like the back arrow for some reason. Okay. So that was the main article. Every week there are several articles, I think 5 or 6 in all. And here's another article that is considered a world article about what's going on in the Red Sea. This is a political article, national, what's going on in the United States. There's always a human interest story. This is very interesting because it says a man is sharing his story of learning to read. So that would be very interesting to read. Animals, and another world article, another animal article. So when I'm using this with my learner, I like them to pick an article that would be of interest to them. You obviously wouldn't have time during every session, each session when you're with your learner to read every single one. It's a good idea if you can to skim it ahead of time to see which articles you think would be not only helpful to your learner, but interesting to them. Okay. So going back up to the top of the screen when you first open News for You, you will see you can click on this and talk to your learner about voting. Now, this may or may not be of interest to them, but I just wanted to bring that attention to you that you can download a voting guide. There's always a weekly poll. Sorry about that pop-up. This one is asking, do you know when your state has its presidential primary? So I'm going to click yes, because I know New York's is in April. And I'm going to vote. And interesting to see, 23 people have voted yes so far, and 25 have said they don't know when theirs is. You can click on this link to see what the previous week's poll is. So if you do this with your learner every week, it's interesting to go back and see what the previous week's results were. a crossword puzzle. I will take you to that. You can only do this online. I discovered that the hard way during COVID. I tried to print it out and send it to my learner in the mail because, of course, we weren't seeing each other in person, and it's not easy to print out, just so you know that. So hopefully, again, you're able to see this on your screen. The first one across is an animal with wings. Okay, and it has 5 letters. And this is supposed to be around a 5th or 6th grade reading level. So an animal that has wings. I'm not good at crossword puzzles, so I'm not thinking right now what that would be. But what you can do is down here, there's a box that says hint, and you can put your cursor right on the letter and keep hitting hint, and it will give you the answer. Okay. So an animal with wings, obviously, it's going to be birds. Well, it does not give you the whole answer, but it gives you the first 3 letters. When you're all done with the puzzle, you can check it. Okay, it will highlight the ones that you did not get correct, because I have completed these with my learner. And so then you can go through and make corrections. Okay. It's better, again, to go up to the top of your computer screen and just hit News for You again, instead of hitting the back button, which doesn't work very well. Okay, they also have a word search. And they always, with the crossword puzzle and the word search, will give you the previous week's answers. In this, say we're looking, let's see, I see the word panicked right here, and that's one of the words. You have to highlight and drag your cursor over, or your mouse, to, and my mouse isn't working today, so I can't show you very well, but that's a word that you need to find. Okay. Not a very good example, but hopefully you can do it easier than I can. Okay. All right, I'm going back to getting to one of my favorite features of News for You, and that's the teacher's guide. This is great. I cannot speak more highly about this. All right, if you click on that, and for every single article that they feature, there is something that you can do. This is very good for your learners who need comprehension improvement. Okay, many questions for discussion. I have used this for homework before. Instead of doing it right in class, I have given my learner the questions, and then they can write out the answers. Again, this always depends on the level of your learner. Write out the answers to the questions and bring them back the next week. Okay. So as you go through, you will see, for example, the article about the nation's first primary voters cast their ballots. After you read the article together, you can match these up with your learner. Who is Joe Biden, or what did he say? Because I didn't read the article yet, I'm not really sure of the exact answer, but you can always go back to the article with your learner to look up the correct answer. Then there are good discussion questions. Again, great opportunity for conversation with your learner. And you can also give these questions for homework. Here's another example. The Golden Gate Bridge now lined with nets to help stop jumpers. It's kind of sad, but anyway, vocabulary, and then they can write out the definition and or use the word in a sentence. This whole guide is printable. You can print the whole thing. I just right clicked and I have an option to print the whole thing, or when you get to your, before you print the whole thing, if you just want to print 1 or 2 pages, if you want to copy and paste a certain section into a Word document, you can do it that way. So every article, excuse me, has discussion questions. This one is about books, which would be a really great one to read. About the man who is sharing how he learned to read. And then you talk about, do you have any favorite books? Have you ever tried to read a specific number of books in 1 month or a year? What are some things you like to read? What do you like or dislike about reading? So I love this. It's just, you could actually do your whole session with your learner using this guide. Okay, so in addition to the student copy of the guide, there's also tips for the teacher to use. Now, keep in mind that a lot of the suggestions are more suitable for a class than one-on-one, but obviously you can adjust them. And this, because it is Black History Month, it gives a lot of suggestions about articles you could read about Black History Month. And these articles down here that are in blue, they're links to articles about Black History Month that are in the archives. In other words, they go back a few months, if not a year. You'll see all the articles that they've ever written about Black History Month or anything related to Black History Month. Okay, now what's going on? Again, this is so good. I would just highly, highly suggest that you take the time to look through this so that you will know every week when you get this article, the different options you can use. This is more about voting. We're not going to look at that one. This is, these are suggestions about different techniques and things you can teach your learner when using the article. This one is about making a list of homophones, words that sound the same based on the words in the News for You articles. Examples are down here: 2, 2, and 2, 4 and 4, no, no, etc. Alphabetizing. Ask the students to write the crossword puzzle answers in alphabetical order. I don't always find that very helpful, but depends on your learner. Listen for changes. Choose an article from News for You and ask your learner to read it. Then have them put away the paper or close the article on their screens. Read the article again, but make some changes. For example, change maybe some names, dates, or other facts. Ask your learner to tell you when they hear something different and ask them for the correct answer. That would be interesting to do. I'm not going to go through all of these. Here's writing and answering questions about stories. Again, you're not going to divide students into small groups. You're going to just work with your learner. Write the headlines on separate pieces of paper. Again, you have to modify this based on just having one learner. Grammar, that is very good for higher level learners. Paragraph scrambles. Okay, so again, you need to go through this ahead of time so you're not fumbling around with it when you're with your learner. Look at all of the things you can do. Again, some are more appropriate for a class than one-on-one, but many are, you can modify to just have one. Okay. Getting back to News for You. Okay, I did look at this before I did my presentation. If you click on this, it will give you information very similar to what I'm sharing with you today. How do you use News for You? How do you use the teacher's guide, the activity ideas? What are all the things that are included in News for You? Okay, vocabulary. Again, I talked about that when I showed you the first article, but this is great because even if you don't read all the articles, you could skim this list. Again, if you put your cursor on the word, it will tell you the definition. And there are probably many, many words in this list that your learners don't know. Okay. All right, so we're at the bottom now. I'm going to go back up to the top and show you one more thing. Obviously the home tab, about News for You, will give you the video tips for teachers we already went over. Archive, that's very important, very helpful, I think. Say you want to talk about COVID and see how many articles there were written about COVID. You put in the words, you click search, and there's 243 results. So there were a lot of articles written about COVID, especially when the pandemic first started. Yes, I remember reading these with my learner when we were quarantined, and it was very good information. And you can just keep getting more and more and more results. So that's very helpful. Okay, so that's it for News for You. I can't say enough good about this. It's a wonderful resource. We do have some paper copies that are mailed to the Canandaigua office, but using your laptop, iPad, whatever it is that you have, even a phone, a smartphone, you can use all these different articles. So I hope this presentation was helpful. If you ever have any questions, contact myself or Barbara if you have questions about how to use this. Okay, thank you.